Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LGL Season 6 Power Rankings. It is week 3. Well, it's week 4 at this point. And I'm joined with some fantastic guests here. I got my guest star, Jamal. Say hi, Jamal. Say hi, Jamal. There you
go.
And, of course, we're joined by Garrett.
Or not.
Or not.
But I'd just like to mention, it's Jamal, aka RizzGod.
Yup, you could definitely say those words in that order. Those are technically syllables. We're gonna jump right in on this. Right into this with our number 17 spot.
Whoa.
Tied for 17th, still sitting at the bottom is Cinewrath, although
He went up.
Went up mostly because the other person came down, but it's net ups. Also, the teams should be updated now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamal.
I'm just so humble.
Cinewrath was up against Smoliv this week, and it was probably the least entertaining match of the week. It was weird. It was definitely odd. Cinewrath seemed to be running Overgrow Bulbasaur.
Or just min speed for some reason.
Yeah, or like 11 speed, because it got outsped by a Scarf Gothita, which is concerning.
He's probably just Overgrow.
Yeah. There was also the most horrendous shiny with Bluedolph the Alolan Diglett. Actually traumatizing.
Get rid of that, please.
Please. I think the game started out okay, but it just fell apart by the end game. It wasn't particularly close. The big thing was that Gothita took out 2 Mons and then a good chunk out of Abra, and then Abra was gone, and at that point you were down to Tyrant and Helioptile, and kind of started to claw things back, but not nearly enough to get past the Farfetch'd in the back, which finished off the Helioptile for the end game. Not a particularly close fight. And it was 2-0, so it wasn't a slaughter by any means, but from Cinewrath's perspective, not a great fight. Tyrant in particular looked like ass in this fight. I don't know if there's anything else you have observed, Jam.
Don't call me that. Call me RizzGod instead. Oh.
I didn't even think of it. I just said Jam out of instinct at this point.
I observed that he's tied for 17th place with Hydreigon.
Hydreigon, yeah, that was a competent transition.
W segue.
Hydreigon was up against Geyser this week and lost. Hydreigon, you messaged me. You were asking if you're last. Technically not.
Yay! Let's go.
Both in that you're not the last person on the slideshow and you're not 18th. If you didn't, I think I've explained this a couple times, but when there's ties and we do a tiebreaker, it's just by whoever. If you won, you get the edge over someone who lost, and if your opponent was harder, you go a little later. That's generally how it works. Hydreigon had a very bad match. It was rough.
Yeah, he got flinched.
He did get flinched. There was the Tortuga endgame. I want to touch on the stuff before that first. Flittle continues to look very bad. It did almost kill something that it had a super effective move to hit. But that's not good.
It's his kill leader, come on.
It is tied for kill leader.
Yeah,
Meowth,
put some respect.
I think Meowth continues... Sorry, go ahead.
Hydreigon should be 3-0 if you really think about it.
No.
Maybe 2-1, maybe 2-1.
I would say at best 2-1, realistically 1-2. I will concede that the last match probably should have been a Hydreigon win. But this one, I'll talk about the Tortuga endgame. 1 second. Golett just died. Meowth continues to be probably the strongest singular performer, other than Tortuga presenting sweeping threats in multiple games. Satotl also continues to deeply underwhelm, just not providing much. And the Tortuga endgame. So, Tortuga was up against a sashed Diglett. Tortuga went for Shell Smash, and it got flinched by the Diglett's Rock Slide. This looks like it mattered. It didn't really matter. To kill Diglett with the Rock Blast, you had to use Rock Blast to beat Diglett's Sash the next turn, was like, I think you were about 70%, 60 to 70% to kill Diglett with Rock Blast the follow-up, which is already not great, coupled with the 30% flinch chance. Then there was a Berry Juice Lileap in the back that could take everything except, I think, a 5-hit Rock Blast might have killed.
Well, depends on its EVs.
I ran the calcs. So I did the calcs. It always survives 2 hits. And it would be knocked to Berry Juice on 2. So it would always survive 4. Outside of maybe some crazy crits. So the odds were definitely, and you had the odds of Rock Blast missing there. It didn't look good for the Tortuga endgame there. I think all things considered, you were maybe in the 5 to 10% ballpark to finish up the sweep with Tortuga. So, not a super relevant. It did matter for differential, of course, and Hydreigon has fallen a little lower than they might have because of it. I think that's probably enough to talk about this match. At least until we get to Geyser, of course. So, we'll move on. Number 16, it's ArchaicFalcon, standing strong at the 16th spot. This was a boring fucking match. Archaic was up against Kryptos, and I don't know. Archaic got kind of clowned on for the first bit of the game by Mankey and Pawn in particular. Porygon and Weasel tried to claw back some advantage, and then Porygon was putting in some hurt, but it wasn't a real threat.
Yeah, he was down 6-3 at the beginning, but the Pick-a-Peck was at 5 HP, and he has a Frigiback, so, I mean, it was really 3-4.
Damn, the Terry shade.
Terry's worse than Keith.
I mean, that's fair. Frigibacks did get utterly owned by a Porygon this match. It did 30% and died. Cottony used Fake Tears, which I really enjoyed. It was Kabaya Berry. It survived a Moraine Sludge Bomb and got off a Giga Drain into a -2 Spadef Moraine.
Did you just say Kabaya Berry?
It's Kebia. How should I pronounce that?
Isn't it Kebia Berry?
Maybe. That also seems logical, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone call it Kabaya Berry.
Okay.
Kryptos was scared of losing when it scarfed Porygon and he has Sucker Punch Pawnyard. I don't know why.
And, you know, a Moralol that easily tanked that Ice Beam, which it did in the game.
Yeah, you'd have to get crit flinched, but not crit frozen. Crit doesn't kill, so just frozen.
Yeah, crit wouldn't have done it. So yeah, Archaic, not really a present force. Archaic is giving me some clever stuff. I think Archaic isn't the worst player that we've got. but still needs some work. Speaking of still needing some work, it's number 15. Gauzic, continuing to drop here. Gauzic was up against Notshadykid this week. I think I've gotten all of the matchups right so far. That's crazy.
Let's go.
This was another one of the less interesting games. It was mostly just a beatdown.
He could have maybe won, but I don't know if. Actually, I think he did.
Elaborate for the audience.
He switched in Spritzy on a Boltoy Earth Power, but if he just sacked off the Mon, he was in like a Mon with 5%.
He was in on Glimmet with 5%.
Yeah, and it dies to rocks. So why? He should have just sacked it off and get Trick Room, and then Seed Bomb wins. And I don't think he has anything to one-hit KO.
Yeah, Seed Bomb was just in a really strong position at that point. We saw Munchlax almost getting a lot of momentum in the end game already. And if it had the speed advantage, I mean, it might have been lights out.
Yeah, it Oko's everything. So he'd have to like stall Trick Room and then maybe Ice Beam Omnite.
Yeah. It was not an enviable position. Bronzor was also here, and literally every time I see Bronzor in a game, I hate it a little bit more.
Bronzor's trash.
It's so disturbingly passive. Like, it never actively moves the game forward. You always just get set up on. Missy continues to be meh in the LGL.
It lost to an Iggly buff, basically.
Technically, it didn't lose to the Iggly buff, but it may as well have.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Mischievous, the 13-point Mon, won the 1v1 with Iggly buff. Let's go!
Let's go, boys!
They're all around a pretty weak game coming out of Gauzic here, but it was a tough fight. Not Shady, very, very strong opponent, of course. So, get your shit together, Gauzic, number 14. Sorry, it's 13 because ties.
God.
I clowned. We got Sage Mode. This needs to be updated because Iggly buff is here.
Oh. Yeah, I just thought that was insignificant, but I guess I was wrong.
How dare you, Jamal? You failed us all. I think Sage Mode was up against... shit. Wait. Weebo, that's right. Damn it.
Weebo.
Also, Sage Mode just brought the top 6, which is kind of funny.
No, he brought Lickitung.
Oh, that's right. Who did he not? He didn't bring Sandshrew.
Get your head in the game, Goose.
My bad. I don't think Sage Mode... This wasn't what I would call a weak game for Sage Mode. I don't think Sage Mode played poorly by any means. Or at least not significantly. Sage Mode mentioned if he had kept around Impidimp, he might have been able to spread some more T-Waves and maybe be able to beat Carvana. Weebo just has a lot of really scary fucking Pokemon on his team, and it's sometimes really hard to beat them, like Carvana, Mienfoo. Just really threatening stuff. Quaxley got an unfortunate burn. Go ahead.
Litten owns Metatite, so that's a thing. And speaking more context to the Impidimp, the Carvana was in on a Ghastly, so it's slower than Ghastly, so he thought it would protect, and going into Impidimp would have been like, gave him a really good position. That's why he went into Impidimp, but if he just attacked, he was owned.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta make those plays, you gotta be aggressive, but yeah. Ghastly almost pulled some cool stuff in the end game there. Tried to do some stuff. Zigzagoon got off a belly drum and died. Zigzagoon didn't press extreme speed at any point in this game, and I felt kind of weird. It's just very disconcerting seeing Zigzagoon not E-speed. And Lickitung tanked really well into Cranidos, and it was cool seeing Cranidos. We'll talk more about that when we get to Weebo. It did end up going down after it knocked off the Scarf and got superpowered, which was a fun interaction, all things considered. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on?
I can't think of a segue.
Segway? You know who else rides Segways?
DonutCat.
DonutCat rides Segways, apparently. Tied for 13th. DonutCat did perform what I would hazard to guess is the largest upset in LGL history. From the 16th spot, defeating the #1 spot. Also, Jamal, this is your opponent, so you are silenced. Dun. Yeah, beating Jamal, the 1 spot, massive upset there. And there was a couple things going on. There was Dwebble and Snubble had some early interactions. Magby got off a belly drum and then got stonewalled by a boy Coco. So it was really looking good for Jamal most of that game. Even when the Squirtle got off a Shell Smash, it just got cleaned up by Grookey. And then Terra Rock Grookey actually killed Rufflet, which is some really cool tech. And then Growlithe Hisui came in on a Terra Rocked Grookey with Terra Steel, Terra Blasted the Grookey to next Tuesday, and then proceeded to take out the follow-up. I know there was a Bunnelby and a Woobat. Bunnelby and a Woobat. Throwing off some head smashes, ended up killing Woobat with a crit head smash that absolutely didn't matter because it was a fucking Woobat and that was a head smash. There was a little bit of good fortune making sure all those head smashes hit because that's 80% accuracy. But Rockhead Growlithe Hisui has been a real standout from DonutCat's team. Probably the MVP, the kill leader, but the MVP on top of that. And Terra Steel here really provided a lot of value. So that was a good turnabout. Otherwise, not an amazing game for DonutCat by any means. Kind of got caught by that unaware. But it didn't need to be amazing outside of that Growlithe. It just needed to be that Growlithe. And sometimes a good endgame cleans up. Sprigatito continues to just show up on DonutCat's team and, like, exist. Which is kind of funny to me. And now we will unsilence the co-host and move on to number 12.
I'm free.
You're free. Ionofentanal still hasn't sent in a logo. If you're seeing this, Ian. I assume your name is Ian, but I'm gonna keep calling you Ionofentanal because fentanyl.
It's so much funnier. I love it. Also, Ionofentanal.
You could just send in a logo if you ever want Big Tits Cruz to go away.
He probably doesn't. That's a beautiful logo.
And we can always put it on the dock too. Just ask.
He's like said 10 words probably in the whole server.
I don't know, not 10 words. Like he's you know, he set states. It's been all right. Ayano was up against. I am going to remember this. It's on the tip of my tongue. I hate
the voices say Jaw.
That's right. It's Jaw. Sorry, it is late. And so Jaw, Ayano, there's some weird things going on. Darumaka running Fire Punch is questionable. I do believe because Fire Punch, Darumaka gets Sheer Force, right? That's a thing. No, it's Hustle. It's Hustle. He's a misfuture. So, Flare Blitz probably the better bet.
Or just not bring it.
Yeah, I don't think Darumaka is a very good Pokemon.
Trash.
I basically remember almost none of Ayano's team doing things. I know Timber mock punched.
Timber made it close.
Yeah. It was Terra Dark Timber. Timber was definitely carrying this match, especially after Frillish got knocked off to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure only Timber and Baniri did anything. The rest just died.
I think Darumaka did a little bit of damage. But not
Yeah.
Darumaka missed its first U-turn, which was funny. Hustle is such a bad ability. And just why Dino is trash. Garrett, do you have a Garrett?
Yes.
Garrett is here! We already clowned on you in the intro, though.
No, it's okay. I just woke up.
Alright, we've got a drowsy Garrett joining us. You will have to fill in your match of the week when we get to stats and facts. We're talking about Ayano. And I think we've basically summed up our emotions on Ayano. This was not a great showing from the Fentanyl boy. And for the sake of time, we'll go to number 11, SmolivGang rising up after beating Sin of Wrath this week. Smoliv just did pretty good this week. It is that simple.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Notably Kabuto was up against Alolan Diglett and didn't have a water move to be able to kill it. It was like knockoff, rapid spin, stealth rock, and some probably rock blast. Which is a little... It was weak armor, yes. No one saw that. The real star of the show is definitely Gothita. Scarf Gothita really cleaned up here, took out the entire Sun Core except Helioptile, and did a chunk to Abra that was, relevant. Voltorb Hisui actually hit a Leaf Storm, so that's good. It was a fairly intimidating presence in this match. And then Farfetch'd was the killing blow when it was all said and done. Yeah, I think Smoliv just had a good game. Not a super tough opponent, so I would hope you kind of do alright.
Speaking of doing alright.
Good transition, Jamal. It's Garrett.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
You came in time, Garrett. You get to talk about your match. Tell us about your match with Billette.
I just played, like, really, really well, basically. I got a crit on the core fish, I believe, that Baconater and I went back and forth on if it mattered or not. It did matter, but like otherwise it was a 1 in 16 roll with the knockoff to kill. But I knew that Billette would bring Terra Poison or Terra Steel Scraggy to get rid of the 4 times weakness of Fairy. Yep. So I got the perfect read with my Earthquake and just demolished it.
Yep.
And the ending was funny.
Yeah, that ending it's great. Just the why not Salandit stall for like what 30 turns?
Yeah.
That was definitely very entertaining.
The longest game in LGL history.
Really?
It's 50 turns. What other game was 50 turns?
I just like that doesn't feel insurmountably large, you know?
There's probably a Weebo game. Weebo has infamously long games, but that's like time rather than yeah.
Like the season 4 finale, the season 4 finals that took 2.5 fucking hours. You've heard Garrett's perspective. We'll talk a little bit more about the match generally when we get to Billette. Oh, you got more?
I could save it for Billette.
No, fire off.
Isn't he gonna be silenced?
Yeah, you're gonna be silenced.
So the worst. Okay, so Billette made a huge blunder in bringing Amora with snow warning against me. I
Okay.
actually never set snow
Yup.
myself.
You're gonna when we get to stats and facts, you're gonna be very pleased. Just know. We've done you proud then. And so let's keep moving on. I think we've got our tied for 7 coming up. Haha, yes! It's Billette! Oh my god, that's cool. Billette,
Silenced.
Yes, Garrett. Silenced.
Bring refrigerator, it's more based.
Refrigerate. It's just refrigerate. Refrigerator!
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, snow warning Amora.
Avocado, avocado.
I hated that. Snow warning Amora, usually a pretty good call. Maybe not into the hail team.
Maybe.
Just a questionable decision. This is just a rough match. Billette kind of just got trounced. And Cutie Fly kept trying to sub in situations where it just had no good reason to be trying to sub.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand that shit. No, but go on, sorry.
Corfish, as you mentioned, got crit. Relevant to some extent. Qfant did a whole load. Qfant Scraggy, whole load of nothing. Why not? Tried its hardest, but did nothing. Funnily enough, Amora is probably the mon that did the most for Billette, and net probably harmed Billette. So this is just a really, this is just a really bad match for Billette. I mean, really rough.
Speaking of rough, Bacon it.
That's you can't. You don't sit and flip the slide.
You still Baconator's match was rough.
We shouldn't have given this guy access to the fucking dock.
Yeah, Bacon was up against Peachy. Bacon had a sizable advantage for most of this game. Right off the kick with Onyx's lead. Rocks went up, but Onyx took 2 mons for the price of 1, which is always very valuable. I think we call that a Keith maneuver here in the business. And Staryu was darting in and out. It had Protect. I'm not sure why. Just did.
Baconator likes running Protect the Scout on certain mons.
And then the chin chowing happened.
Yeah, he got chin chowed.
He just chin chowed all over the place. Ponyta was like it was a Terrifier Morning Sun Sunny Day set that was really cute. I liked it.
He was trying to cook.
Yeah, he's trying to cook. And it did stuff Calm Mind Swirlix, which, like, I know we haven't got to Peachy yet. Calm Mind Swirlix. But Chinchou just went bolt, 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 and it cleaned up that end game. It really felt like Baconator was, like, in the moment, getting it, was making all the right moves, and then just everything locked into place for Chinchou to just clean up this end game. I don't think I have anything else to add to this. You guys got?
No, I think he got the gist of the match.
I think, and speaking of the gist, we're about to give you the gist of Gaiza. Up 2 after defeating Hydreigon very, very soundly. It's kind of hard.
Stuffle scares me.
It's a bad Stuffle sprite. Yeah. Why does he look like that? This was guys. There's not a lot to talk about on Geyser's side. It's just like Diglett and Stuffle, and that's kind of it.
Wow, so inspirational.
Who did he face again?
He was up against Hydreigon. He got that rock slide flinch.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry.
Stuffle just came in and killed everything.
Yeah, Stuffle was definitely the beater here, and Stuffle's a carryover from one of Geyser's two Hail teams, so Geyser's pretty familiar with him. Yeah, just a pretty decisive performance from Geyser. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say here. But speaking of things that have more to say, we've got more to say about Notshadykid, who was up against Gauzic. Please don't roast me for how bad that segue was. And
You roast me all the time.
Yeah, we roast you because it's funny. So this team notably missing Igglybuff because Jamal's incompetent. Boo, Jamal failure.
You couldn't do that for 2 weeks. At least I fixed most teams.
I have no retort to this accurate statement. Yeah, I mean, Shady, Baltoy really came out looking excellent in this match. Baltoy's Rapid Spin provided a ton of support. Pancham has been doing work for Notshady. Match after match has just been utility and damage. Mastiff died. That happened. Igglybuff took most of a Missy, which is an absolute win. Shellos clicked Yawn on a Munchlax that decided it didn't want to do anything and would rather just recycle. And then Ammonite clicked Ice Beam. Yay!
Yay! That wasn't even coordinated. I just, that was the one time I felt like talking and I said the right thing.
It was, we all share one brain cell.
He could have lost this game. I don't know. It wasn't that convincing of a win.
Yeah. Definitely, it wasn't nearly as convincing as like the Garrett win over Billette, or there's one other super decisive win.
Kryptos and Weebo kinda.
Yeah, fairly decisive. So not a amazing showing by Notshady, but yeah, got the job done. You don't need to get a slam dunk win every time.
You know who else got the job done?
My mom.
Go to the next slide. Jaw.
No, it's Jaw. Jaw was
job.
Get it, guys? Get it?
Honestly, that was probably your best segue.
Winning.
Jaw was, of course, up against Fentanyl this week. Yeah, I mean, Archon really pulled together this match. Pineco kind of got clowned on. Bramblin was here and did stuff. Sizzlipede got a Flash Fire boost, which was kind of neat. Didn't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But it was really Archon's contribution to this end game that really put Jaw through. And then Sandile was able to take out the Timber. Yeah, finished off the Timber, and then watch Hippopotas die to hazards.
The Bramblin actually did something. The Strength Sap won him the game.
Really? Elaborate.
Yeah, because the Mach Punch, the Sandile lived on 10%, so if the Strength Sap never lowered his attack, he would have killed.
Yeah. And then and Bramblin also set up a spike, so Bramblin was definitely relevant. Probably did more in this match than Pineco or Magnemite.
Yeah, love this Bramblin out there.
Wait. Look at the lad. I love Bramblin. He's got a good design. Magnemity was air balloon. That is a word I said. Speaking of words I say, I'm gonna say the words that also tied for fourth is Weebo, who was up against Sage Mode. Cranidos! Grievard was here, and it did stuff, and it was named, it had a good name. It was Dog with a Blog. It's a cute name.
Yeah.
Grievard's so cute. I just, like, it's stupidly cute.
Also, Grievard's so good, it destroys Metatite, unless you run Fling.
thanks for telling us how to beat Metatype with Greavard, or how to beat Greavard with Metatype. That's some spicy tech for all the Metatype players out there, like SageMode. Kranidos switched in today. It got a kill. Kranidos got a kill. Yes.
Let's go.
It was very exciting. But really, this was the Mienfoo and Carvana show. Dewpider lost the 1v1 to a Quaxley.
Didn't Deerling do something good?
Deerling wasn't here.
What? I thought there was some sort of Serene Grace headbutt shit.
That was last week.
Oh, I'm schizophrenic. My apologies.
You're just like Smoliv. Litten did a little bit of its thing, but really it was the Mienfoo threatening and then Carvana cleaning up with the Terra Ghost again. Carvana continuing to prove itself as an incredibly strong Pokemon. And you see it right here, kill leader. Even though he has... Why does he look like a Pitbull? What the fuck? But yeah, a fairly decisive win for Weebo here. Pretty well played. Wait, you got it. Go for the transition, Jamal. It's all you.
Speaking of not very well played, number 3.
It's you! Oh my goodness! You tell us a little bit about yourself, Jam Jam.
It was 1 AM and I played like shit. So yeah, why does Bunnelby do so much to Growlithe?
Terra Steel Growlithe.
It returned to 72%. If I knew that, I would have won. But DonutCat just always beats me. It's a revenge.
Have you ever beaten DonutCat?
I beat him last season. I flinched him.
Oh yeah. Garrett, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just gonna say, why are you losing a DonutCat, mate? Like, I remember watching this match, and there was something that I just didn't understand. Like, I can't remember it, but.
Notably, Garrett, having just woken up, was not here for when we rewatched the matches, so...
Yes. There was something I didn't like that you brought. I remember that.
Sandygast?
Maybe. I think that is Loki.
Yeah, Sandygast was
Jamal.
Sandygast just died, so... Unaware Fuecoco into the Magby was quite cool. I was a fan of that. Grookey stopped Squirtle from being too much of a threat. But yeah, it was just Growlithe Hisui cleaned up that endgame. And yeah, and Snubbull traded hit some Dwebble. Not a super eventful match, but a pretty pivotal one with the number one 2 weeks running, dropping down to 3rd place. You gonna pick it back up, Jamal?
Yes, I play Smoliv.
Oh yeah, this is the big week for you two. You got the rivalry going.
Yeah, she already told me the team I have to bring.
Oh, do you both?
Interesting.
Are you both being forced to bring a specific team?
No, only I am, because I made a deal with her last season.
Jesus, we've got cross-seasonal deals going on here. This is like fantasy baseball.
Yeah. She didn't... Well, my team has a lot of good Pokemon, so... It has no bad Pokemon, is what I'm trying to say. So, I'm pretty confident.
And I'm pretty confident that the number 2 spot is Peachy! That's good. I got that transition in. Peachy is one of only 2 players here that are currently undefeated. Peachy has only won 1-0 every single match, and it was Chinchou, folks. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, change the name. Not Peachy, it's Chinchou.
The fact that Dwebble is the mascot is a crime. It should really be Chinchou at this point. Chinchou just cleaning up that endgame with Thunderbolts. Scarf Chinchou, it's a good set. It's proved itself really well. And this time it didn't have any disgusting RNG to back it up.
She's brought it every week and every week it's done amazing.
Otherwise, I don't think the rest of this match was particularly good for Peachy. Vullaby kind of... Yeah, Combine Swirlix not ideal, and it definitely didn't do well. Vullaby nasty plotted and died. Or, well, it killed Natu, but yeah. Trapinch died.
I think that Combine Swirlix should calmly mind its own business and run Belly Drum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Baconater's team just got, like...
It just got chowed!
Wait. Yeah.
I guess you could say Peachy chowed down.
Yeah.
W joke.
Thank you. And speaking of W's, our first place is Kryptos.
Kryptos.
Big ups here for Kryptos. Kryptos' first ever drafted season landing on top. Obviously, Kryptos was in last season. Did someone whisper my real name? What? Okay. This was not my real name. It scared me though. This was not a good match for Kryptos. I'm just gonna be honest. This wasn't a stellar performance. Frigibax just did 30% to a Porygon and died.
That's a record though.
Damn Frigibax. Mankey was probably pulled a lot of weight here, did a lot of the damage in the early game. More little Moraine Pawniard. It's just a really strong core, and it was able to hold together the game. Hickey Peck was able to get the kill on Mudbray with Bullet Seed because multi-hit moves are gross. Like it wasn't an elegant win for Kryptos, but it was a win.
I got a lot to say, like a lot.
Oh, go ahead, Jamal. Spill the tea.
Alright, so I promised Kryptos I rant about how amazing he is. Okay, first of all, his team's so beautiful. He made the best plays I've ever seen in my life. Like, I watch this game, and I'm a different Pokemon player. I swear, I've never been, like, he enlightened me on how to play Pokemon. His sets were so beautiful. It was just, the way he used Terry every single week, and did less than 30% every single week. It was beautiful. His Pawniard usage, I mean, I love Pawniard. I used it last season, but he's so much better than me with it. He's so much better than me with every Pokemon. He's like, honestly, the best player here. And the disrespect for Kryptos has to stop. He's just quite simply, like, it's not even a debate. He's the best player here. And no one could argue. He's like the MJ of Pokemon. And we're going to see that. He's going 11-0. He's going to beat everyone. He's going to 3-0 everyone. And here's my prediction. He's going to get a Icy Wind, Swords Dance, substitute Dragon Claw win with Terry in finals. And he's going to be crowned the best player of all time. People are going to go out into the streets and they're going to see Kryptos. And it's going to be like if a person saw Steph Curry. He's going to be an icon. He's so talented. It makes me jealous. Every time I look at his profile picture, it's so beautiful. He's the most elegant. He's the best. He's the smartest.
Jamal,
he dwarfs Einstein.
I can't. That is.
I just love him so much.
I want to assure the audience I will never allow this amount of verbal fellatio to occur on a video again. And speaking of verbal fellatio, it's time for a treat for the ears as we go to stats and facts. And let's kick it off with matches of the week. Because why not? We're switch up a little bit. Personally, I picked Peachy versus Baconater. I think it was definitely I think it was the match I anticipated the most this week, and I think it delivered. Even though like the end game was very interesting. It was kind of like watching a chess game where like one player's down the whole time, but like hits a sneaky mate. It was just satisfying. I enjoyed watching it. Garrett, we have listed your match of the week as L plus Bozo plus didn't record, but since you're here, I will give you the opportunity to pick a match of the week.
Yeah, of course I'd pick mine, but given that it's already taken by Jamal because it was the best match of the week, I think I'd go with Jaw.
Any reason in particular?
No.
Fair enough. Is Jamal here? I heard a lot of badunking.
Sorry, I pushed him down the stairs.
Oh, thank you, Garrett. Hey, Jamal, it's your time. It's your turn to say the match of the week.
Oh, I think he has a slight concussion.
Oh, then Garrett, you can enlighten us why Jamal picked your match of the week.
My role in LGL is just to ruin Billette's perfect record. I did that this season and last season, I believe.
And to ruin them decisively.
Yes. It was the only match I actually watched the previous matches for to like get the download as to what how I should prepare, and it worked perfectly. Very
cool. So we've got some stats, we got some facts. No captain who is a veteran who's done a draft before is undefeated anymore. Kryptos and Peachy are the only two with undefeated records, and this is their first draft each, so that's cool. Some strong, fresh blood.
Hello?
And then don't... Hide, you back.
Yeah, I picked Garrett versus Billette because of the ending, and, Garrett owns Billette.
Cool. And DonutCat beating Jamal, of course, I believe it's the biggest upset in LGL history. I would be surprised if it's not. It's pretty massive. And Garrett, go ahead and give us the set of the week and your blunder of the week.
Yeah, it actually would have been my blunder of the week, is the funny thing.
I was hoping that would make you happy, though.
That was all me.
The set of the week is the Terra Steel Growlithe, Hisui, for hacking the Grookey and cleaning up the endgame for Donut. A very, very immaculate Terra choice there.
I disagree.
And my blunder... Okay, well you can... You lost.
Go in a corner, Jamal.
Okay, but my blunder of the week is Billette bringing Snow Warning on the Amora versus my team that has a Slush Rush Sandshrew A. I never even had to bring out. I never even set Snow myself. It was just always there for me.
It was like a present. It was a Christmas present just for you. And well, I think there's just one closing thought remaining. And
Yes.
I like to impart it every time. It is.
Yes.
That's it! Go away!